Hey, hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Decisive Campaigns, the Blitzkrieg from Warsaw to Paris. We are in the 17th of May and we're well on schedule, I would say. If you would be looking at the historical advance of the Germans by this time, you would find that many of these units would not have been encircled yet. There would have been quite a bit of I would say that there would be quite a bit of Belgian forces still around this area trying to defend near Ghent, whereas we have almost surrounded all of them. And then the Germans would actually rather be much more somewhat stuck down here on the 17th, 18th. I would say that they would not have been able to make it to St. Quentin and Cambrai by that time just yet. Whereas we have. Okay, let's actually start with the systematic movement of my units, because that's what we're here for. Okay, that's actually interesting. I can move them all the way up till here, but the difference between that and this is quite a lot, so I'll move them towards Antwerp, and that should also save at least a few points. There we are. I don't know why the game suddenly is giving me trouble. Now, I think one of the important things for me to start doing now is to get start getting troops to move further along and bypass the rest of the resistance, and leave that to reserve units. So I'll be looking to mop things up with the reserve while moving along with the units that actually will seriously make a difference here. So yeah, they might actually try to get down further south. I'll actually take the city of Mechelen here. Yeah, I'm leaving a gap open here as well, but like I said, that gap is supposed to be then at least filled by the reserve units. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This is also reserve. And okay, so I will rail transfer all units from the 207th over here. Oh. Oh, you're not on a rail hex, right? There we go. Especially because the 10th is actually quite big. So I would say in that sense it would be pretty important. Now, what I'll do with the 227th is I'm trying also to divide the enemy's forces into smaller chunks here, so they would be having a harder time. They can, for example, still go down there. They might still become a bit of a problem this way. And to be honest, I would like to avoid it. All of these are part of the 10th, but yeah, I also have these as guys that would need to deal with enemy forces. Now these, I actually also want to keep moving. Yeah. Although that obviously does not go super smoothly at the moment. And I'll have to deal with that part of the 4th probably next turn. That's definitely how it seems to me anyway, this train. They'll have to wait for more EP, or can they already repair it? Yes, they can. Ooh. Well, don't mind if I do. That is quite valuable. I need to move these further ahead. Then play the speed card. I can only play it on the 3rd. Yet. That's okay though. Yeah. They'll be able to move a lot further, allowing me to encircle these guys too. Okay, with that now being able to move again, let's keep going. I will have to potentially make a push to get these guys out of there, so any movement that I can get on them is still a welcome addition. And there really is no need for me to hold on there. Now, I did talk about how I want to take this, so let's see if there's something in there. Just planes. Well, I cannot imagine that attacking planes will be a problem. Nope. I just overran that airfield. Holy cow. They actually have a lot more room to move. That, I would almost say that's a bit scary. Yeah, so I can totally encircle that. I even got Mons. They have nothing in Mons. Jeez. This is pretty good. I mean, basically, 'cause Canberra is also empty. I'm not gonna be greedy. I'm not gonna move forward. I'll let these panzers rest for a bit, and I'll actually hold that bridge for now. I need my units to catch up a little bit there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be greedy. Okay. With all of the I mean, it is a pretty big mess still. Wow. Trying to make sense of this stuff sometimes, it can be pretty crazy. But I do feel like yeah, let's just keep them together like that. I'm kind of done with making a huge mess here for the moment. It does take away all the units from those places. I'm moving both of these, and then I'll start bombing. This stack. I want the Belgians to surrender as fast as possible. And extra damage does help with that. It will help me clear the pockets faster. Okay, so as for the 255, I'll start positioning troops to start dealing with forces in this pocket. While also trying to maintain a decent composure. They haven't been encircled for that long. You can also see that by the amount of supplies that they technically still have. And there we go. That's actually somewhat neat. Good, good. Okay, and the 18th Army will also move. As for the 6th Army, the 6th Army doesn't have much currently. Whereas the 4th Army has quite a bit. So I actually need to put you guys under the 6th. Funnily enough, they also have a speed card. Or haste card. Spawn the 4th. Whereas these guys don't really have to do that much with speed, but they're part of this corps, so I would say that the 253rd actually needs to move further along towards this area. They're also mostly reserve. It would actually suit me quite a bit to finish them off, if you ask me. It's only one part of the 18th should not be used in the attack. Again, this might hurt me a little bit, but I think these guys are so problematically positioned that I think they have priority. You're part of the 4th Corps, and the 4th Corps is around here. Now, this cavalry is one of those other units of which I feel it's pretty critical to kill them. Simply because of their high movement. And they do seem to have a pretty big stack of units anyway. And the reason why I think for them it's so important is because that clears up this entire area. Now, really? Okay, I really wanted that one piece of hex. And I need these guys to, well, let's just say wipe the slate clean here. Once the forces in the vicinity of Brussels will have been cleared, then they kind of get to move through. But currently, that seems to, I don't want to say off the table. But it might take a little while. Okay. I would say that went pretty well so far. Okay, good. Yeah, and I actually want the 5th to move further south along this line. Because, I mean, come on, this is just ridiculous. But, okay, well... That's 7th Panzer. Then, the 32nd and 12th. If they want to go in here, again, I just don't really care. There are quite a few, few places where I really feel that, like, it doesn't really matter if the AI tries to get in there. I'm moving further along. Like, they can go here. Who cares? There's nothing there. Really? Namur itself is empty. Huh. Well, I'm gonna make use of it at the very least. Oh, you can't enter. By moving those guys in there. Especially now that these guys are encircled, I'm not gonna look a gifted horse in the mouth. I'm just gonna take it. And no attacks will be made. I'll just what I will do though is I'll play a hold the line card on the 211th in case these guys get frisky. Namur is the important thing there anyway, so it will make sense for them to try to get funky there. But I would think that most likely they'll just try to escape in whatever way possible. Alright, next, I still hold the rail line, and that is the most important thing. Anyway, at this point, I can move the 5th further ahead. Wow. Like, what are you part of? The 3rd. The 3rd can move even further. Where are the other port? The 21st? Oh, they're here. Okay. So if I use the 21st to hold this, then units from the 3rd division actually move along. No, it's still one big mess that they have a unit there. Let's stay out of its way. Ha! That's an encirclement for you as well. Let's block that. Yeah, great. That means that down here we also have an encirclement. Okay. Let's just follow along. Nothing to see here. I mean, that really looks to be the case now. It really currently seems to me that... okay. There are barely any forces. Again, unless they have a new line of defense around the Ain and Vesla River. Which they could. I would not put it past them. And the infantry will probably need a while to catch up too, although... as far as encirclements go... things are doing just fine. Let's keep these units in key locations that I, at the very least, want to hold for the moment. Just like here, I would not want them to suddenly go and take this. I know that they've been cut off, but they will have at least one more turn's worth of good supplies. Oh, I was supposed to hold this area with the 21st. Yeah. Oh, we'll see. If these guys are gonna pull back, then I can actually make use of it and work my way into the gap. That could be a thing too. At any rate, I'm moving the first forward. I don't see... any reason not to continue along. Especially, like I said, now that this has been taken, my southern flank, like I almost no longer have to worry about it. Once I've taken this pocket, or at least reduced it substantially, there is nothing more to fear there. Right, back further up, I still need to take care of the bombing. Shouldn't forget that. Yeah. Trying to sow as much chaos and confusion amongst these guys as possible, but I would imagine that there's plenty of chaos and confusion. Yeah, just quickly taking a look whether there are still armored units and or other things that I can move within these areas. I'm happy that the infantry is pushing through a little bit now, though. Alright, so I was gonna have these guys take care of this, but I'll do that on the next turn. This is still a bit of a mess, but now that they're encircled, at least I do get to push through. And to be completely honest, I do think I can now at least get the second away from Mézières and just start moving down. Because not only do I now have this here. Yeah, I don't actually have a working rail line. I'm fixing that. Like there is... one thing I'll do... I'll actually put Großdeutschland back in there. I need to hold that city. It is very critical, I think. So, like something like this, this just doesn't matter. And it really isn't going to be the end of the world to fix that stuff. Okay, I think once again, except for some bombing run from you guys, at least. And you. I mean, they were overstacked, so... How surprising is it really that that happened? Not that surprising, I think. Units experience. Sure. Not sure how effective it is, but look, I 100% expect them to break this, by the way, for the next turn. Anyway, I'll be back once the turn is over. The enemy turn is over, that is. I will, however, also do this. It ain't much, but it's still something. And if they lose, you know, 400 here, 400 there, don't hear me complain. Alright, yeah, unless they can actually cross here, that is not worthwhile. Alright, I'll meet you back at the enemy's turn, after the enemy's turn. Alright, new turn. These things do start taking a lot of time. I actually do other stuff while the enemy turn is loading, because it's just like, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour. Oh well. Anyway, Belgium loses the will to fight. That's not a surprise after last turn. Their base morale dropped below 40, and a political crisis this turn caused the Belgians to lose the will to fight. However, out of loyalty to their allies, they will not lay down their arms immediately, but continue to fight for this day and the next. The day after that, they'll put down their arms and surrender to the Germans. Another rain weather turn. So third in a row. French losses are 11. British 2. But let's quickly take a peek here. So, first of all, up here seems like they have some force, but nothing too interesting. I don't think the Belgians can muster up any significant force anymore. We'll just take care of these. Like this also. Whatever they still have, we'll be able to systematically deal with it. Of course, they will lay down their arms in a while, but you know, something like this is potentially dangerous. Well, let's take a look at the history first. So, next battle on attack. Here. I mean, didn't seem to have ended poorly. I don't know. Artillery battle. More artillery. We lost 100 infantry. More artillery. More artillery. And they had a failed attempt to blow a bridge at Ghent. Okay, so that's there. Then they're holding, or this part of the 9th Motorized is holding this area near Oudenaarde. I think they're gonna go around, as the situation might see. They've taken Mons, and they've broken out, unsurprisingly. They haven't counterattacked at Cambrai, but they've been able to bring up the 23rd Infantry Division out here, which I can possibly encircle. But yeah, they've broken out. Obviously, that was not a surprise really. There, they've also destroyed this bridge, unfortunately. So I will need to take engineers there. I'll re-encircle these. This is like, I'm obviously overextended here. Like, I'm not denying that. It would just be interesting to see how they are doing. I can't do that yet because I just don't have enough information on most of them. Whereas, for example, here, even here, I actually don't know enough about these guys, and they actually seem to have pretty reasonable amount of offensive just trying to hide in Brussels. But yeah, it definitely seems like they're desperate to hold on to those things. Like, these guys are moving, but I don't know why. They probably don't have anything anymore. I can probably clear those pretty easy. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap things up here. I want to thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. A special shout out to my Patreon supporters: Spoomnerau, Dungeon Bastard, Tomislav Flynn, Thomas B. Marshall, C Data, and Swords. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and